Who are the real dictators in Africa? Pinks of the USA EU through their elected representatives and their representing organizations enjoy to call brown African rulers tyrants, despots, and dictators using the terrorizing media that have illegal and dictatorial supremacy over the entire information sector of African countries. But who are the real tyrants, despots, and dictators in Africa? Who are you trying to fool? Who between you pink people of the USA, EU, and African rulers has imposed on the brown African people in Africa their languages, identities, and culture while effectively putting brown African languages, identities, and culture on death row right now, with many dead already? Is it you pink Europeans of the USA, EU, or African presidents? The answer is you pink Europeans of the USA, EU have imposed your languages, identities, and culture on brown African people and put those of brown African people on death row. Is that not you being racist tyrants, racist despots, and racist dictators? Who has turned the information flow of African countries into a mental traumatizing noise which make brown African people view pink European people of the USA, EU as superior human beings and brown African people, past and current victims of pink Europeans of the USA, EU as inferior human beings? Isn't it you pink people of the USA, EU that have made brown African people to have that racist and anti-brown people illusions in their brains? Is that not you being racist tyrant, racist despots, and racist dictators? Who gives you the right to tell us all about ourselves, past and present, as seen with how all our educational contents are written by you and our information sector entirely in your hands, as seen with your domineering media, illegal presence, and supremacy in Africa, which is the real reason behind the mental imprisonment of brown African people, which makes us generally view you as superior human beings and ourselves as inferior human beings. Is that not you pinks of the USA, EU being devilish dictators? Who own African countries' economies, natural resources, land between you pink Europeans of the USA, EU and the so-called African dictators? The answer is it is you pink Europeans of the USA, EU who own African countries' economies, natural resources, and land, leaving brown African people into cruel poverty and early death. So who are the real dictators in Africa? Whose order are these so-called African dictators, tyrants, and despots serving? Is it their own brown African orders or pink supremacy orders where the lives of brown African people in those African countries revolve around worshipping pink people of the USA, EU languages, identities, cultures, images as seen on TV and magazines, and pink people, while brown African own languages, identities, culture, images are dying and in some cases dead? The answer is the brown African people are made to worship you pink Europeans of the USA, EU, as seen with how all that is yours is now standard in Africa, and what belonged to the owners of Africa, the brown African people, is now below yours and put on death row. Meaning the African president, so-called despot, tyrant, and dictators are serving your racist colonial interest of madness. So it is you pink people of the USA, EU who are the real tyrants, dictators, and despots in Africa. Quit being so devilish, you racist scums. You pinks of the USA, EU are the real horror we in Africa are faced with right now. You are in real term the real cause of the widespread HIV, STDs, starvation, inhuman poverty, and backwardness Africa is infected with. You pinks of the USA, EU are a deadly sickness Africa is infected with, and we intend to cure ourselves of you. Issued by Protecting Africa on the 23rd of December 2014. Protecting Africa.